Hey, welcome back to another Black City Coffee vlog. In this video, I wanted to go over some updates. Let's talk about labels again. We always are upgrading our labels, and last year, since we rebranded, my decision to kind of like dumb down the label and make it really simple, like let's just go, because I couldn't make up my mind. And so I knew that I was going to have this temporary kind of vibe of like kind of subpar labels, very subpar labels. It always bothered me on whether to go with the full design, full printout, digital printout of a custom bag. So if we look at something like this, right, like a full printed thing. So I really wanted to do something like this. When I saw how much it cost, which was going to be, I don't know, maybe 10 grand or something like that, to fulfill not only the design cost, but also the quantity. When you start doing this, you're really basically solidified on, at least like 10,000 of these, depending on which printer you go through. And that's like the top of the line, top of the line kind of cost. I think 10 grand was about the number. And yeah, that was just super out of my budget. I mean, at least it's clean. My kind of like compromise that I was making with myself was that it was easy to read and easy to discern on mobile. It really irked me. It doesn't sit well with my personality to have something so simple. So now that things have kind of settled down, and I tried designing something a little bit, and I want to show you that, which is not that. Something like this. Okay, this is a new blend. I think that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I'm still developing it. I'm working with some new coffees, of course, and I'm thinking something like this. Okay, so the biggest issue I think that people will run into printing their own labels or trying to formulate ideas is like, one, the look. If you haven't got your look down or your branding down or your all that stuff, like colors, do you want colors, that's probably going to be the most, I think, frustrating thing, because if you can't make up your mind and really be married to the ideas of this design, you'll feel really, not very confident about printing very many of them. And if you want to print high quality labels, they cost more money. So what was happening with me, which was really frustrating, was I'd come up with a very maybe simple or, at least it's good enough to pass for a design, and then I would try to go print it professionally, and then I would change my mind, right? So that was becoming a very costly mistake or just a costly habit that I was having. And it was really because I didn't feel confident about the whole design of everything. I decided to dumb it all the way down to what you guys see now, which is like this label, right? That's just an issue for me. Like that willingness to invest in these labels, whether or not you make mistakes on them or not, I think is just a cost that I'm gonna have to eat, because there's just so many great looking coffee bags out there, and there's so many great designs. And so for me to be able to even just be in that arena, the packaging just has to be there. Even though my frugal, can't make up your mind is there telling me like, just wait, like just coast on these basic labels. That was fine for like a couple months, but it's really not working out. So yet again, here we are kind of kicking ourselves for going the cheaper route, quote unquote, the easier route. And now we're back here again. But I think what I have to understand as somebody who is trying to get this brand to be something, or just be understood, that I'm giving a piece of my heart when I make every bag of coffee. So I really need to get it through my head that I need to present it in a way that matches that. So if I'm giving a piece of my heart away, or I'm making a piece of my heart, or giving this to you, like I want it to look the best, because that's what I intend. And the best is an idea that is always evolving and always changing. I'm like, all right, I got to move past these existing labels, which is this. At the time, like, this was the best. Now I'm like, that is totally not my best. It's now feeling something maybe like this. Year of the Tiger, that's another thing I'm putting together. I am a tiger in the Chinese zodiac. And I always think it's really fun to read your little zodiac. But anyway, 2022 is my year, so we're definitely going to make a Year of the Tiger blend, of course. We have a cat theme. I saw that Bodhi put out a Year of the Tiger blend. I was like, dang, I thought it was going to be the first. Our Shadow Cat, our Kitty Whiskey, right? Curious Cat, that's coming out soon. And then our rest of our other single origins and stuff that I'm working on. And even after this, and it took me all day to get here, and really kind of going back and forth, what should I include? And so that's kind of where I was at today. I feel like I'll change my mind and be a little bit more finicky and unconfident about my own designs, because it's not really coming from a designer's mind. It's coming from, so I've hit up Nathan again, the designer of our amazing logo, right? He did this one. And I was like, Nathan, I need help. Like, we just, we got to go. We got to get these labels to look really good. And I feel like if he does it, I'll definitely be married to it, right? It'll be an investment, but at least because it's coming from a designer mind and him having a really holistic understanding of who we are, because he's the one that sort of like initiated this movement into this sort of vibe, right? So I definitely would want to consult him versus anybody else, and get me to focus my ideas down so that we can distill to something this great, but in a coffee label. And will it look something like this? I don't know. I'm down. I'm so open. I'm just like, I even was talking about incorporating, I see this design a lot. I looked at other coffee labels and I kind of just like, this seems to be what people like, right? But what I want to do is, if I'm working with somebody who's trying to focus my ideas and maybe can interpret them into a cool design, is some kind of storytelling. Like, I'm a person who's very much involved in this brand, in Black City's identity. And I think that's something that will help us differentiate amongst all the coffees that are going to be out there in the future. So why not, lean into our difference, which is me. How can we incorporate, I don't know, me, I guess, into this label? And I mean, is that even something to talk about? Just how could we think outside of the box, and not just do something that we've seen before, or come to the worst of it, me getting bored with it again and then not even sticking with the design that he gives me. I would kind of hate that. Like, I've done this before in the past in other businesses where I would pay a designer, but because it didn't really resonate with me, and it wasn't based in a lot of like something real, the design was not timeless. There was no why behind it. There was no greater meaning behind it. And so we didn't end up using certain designs. And so that was a waste of money and time and all that stuff. So I definitely don't want to do that. I think it's time for another deep dive into our souls with Nathan, as he does, and gets you to really focus in on your ideas so that we can turn them into real tangible things like a logo, a label. And that way, when somebody looks at it, there's this conscious and subconscious intention of feeling and emotion and communication that should happen, I think, when you're looking at a certain label. And what I mean by that is, like, when you look at, Onyx, one of my favorite looking coffees, there's definitely a certain vibe, that kind of comes through. It looks technical. It looks also artsy. It looks also edgy and kind of masculine. So that kind of thing, where I know that I can kind of say those words on the top of this, but I'm sure underneath these layers there's something else deeper that I don't really have to know, but I know that as a consumer looking at this, I feel. That's the kind of stuff I think, I don't know if that's helpful to you, but like, when I was searching for inspiration online, and like, what the heck do I put on this label? Do I just copy? Do I just, like, the fact that this is a little playful and cartoony, is that okay? The fact that this is super Asian, I know I'm leaning into the Year of the Tiger thing, is that okay? Does that make sense? This is a vintage sort of anatomical look. Is that all right? So these are just ideas. I'm not married to them. I'm not printing these. I don't think so. Like, this is a totally different look. But I don't know. At the time, right now, I feel like it's okay. The fact that I have somebody in my corner, Nathan, a true designer, he can tell me that yes or no and stuff. Like, this feels okay. Maybe this, I don't know. This, because it's kind of generic in its design. Okay, we've got the country in the background. I've got the process, the elevation, the notes, the variety. I've got the origin, and then I've got a light, medium, dark. I got colors that I feel work together. And that's as far as I've gotten. But how can we go deeper with that? Those are the things I've been dealing with today. It was kind of like a design day. We are going to be upgrading our labels. Labels is a big deal. Like coffee packaging, no matter how much I want to get around it because I can't make up my mind or budgetary reasons, whatever. It's so important. The bottom line is that the packaging has to represent all the stuff that I feel inside, that I'm putting into the coffee. And for you guys who know me, right, you get to know me and you feel compelled to support Black City Coffee, that's great. But I don't have all that time when people are just browsing coffees and I want to convince a stranger that my coffee is good. And that's what packaging does. If you have great packaging, it's convincing strangers. And I actually learned, I got tipped off to this from another entrepreneur that I was listening to online, probably on YouTube or something. I was trying to absorb and be inspired by other creators. And that's the thing that really just kind of resonated with me today. And that's why today just became this like design day. I was like, let's put in the time, let's put in the work, and really focus on this packaging thing and find a solution, because right now I'm not happy. So that was today. I hope that was helpful. I will be sharing a little bit more stuff as we get into labels, as I find another printer and see if it works out. I don't know. I'll keep you updated on that, but we are going to keep updating, labeling, our packaging, everything. You know, it's a process and it's a journey. So good things, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.